It's Vlogmas day 3. And I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I am exhausted. It's just the truth. I woke up today feeling absolutely awful and I was thinking, what's the one thing that I can do and be productive? The one thing I can do and be productive without having to really film would be to do a reaction video. And my last reaction video was so fun because I got to look at myself 5 years ago when I was living in upstate New York. I had filmed a video that I wanted to post to YouTube and I never actually posted it. So I have another video from 2.5 years ago when I was living in the Upper East Side in Manhattan, still in New York. And I think it'll be really cool to look and see what I was doing 2.5 years ago. I do remember in this video I was talking about my life, my internship, what I was working on, and what my plans were for the future. So I kind of want to look at this and see where I was there, what I wanted in my future, and now that I'm in the future, 2.5 years ahead, to see what my future has held since. I love comparing my timelines in life that I give for myself. I've always loved doing this. So since we already went 5 years back, this is 2.5 years back. And then next is present. So we'll just continue along this YouTube journey. Let's go. I'm also in an editing mood, so this gives me some content to edit. It has been, there's like a hurricane outside right now, I swear. Literally years since I made a YouTube video, but I feel this calling to jump on camera and kind of just talk about something that a lot of us, I'm sure, are going through right now. I've been thinking a lot about it. I've been literally hyper analyzing the situation all summer, and I feel like I used to drink a bottle of wine every night, if not every other night, and I would hand sew for my internship all night long, and I would fill these wine bottles with flowers that I would buy from the nearby flower guy. Time for me to finally hop on and just make a video about it. Life after graduation is no fucking joke. But before I get into all of that, let me just first give you a brief background on why I am making this video, but I just feel this immense need to talk about it. So I graduated a couple months ago from Syracuse University with a major in fashion design and a minor in public communication studies with a distinction in fashion and beauty communications. Throughout my studies, I literally pushed myself to the fucking core. I worked so hard. I literally just went to the doctors to like check my kidneys because I drank too much caffeine in college and now my kidneys are like fucked up. So yeah, my kidneys are still kind of fucked up. They will hurt randomly and I'm like, why are they hurting? And it's usually when I drink too much coffee or caffeine now, they like start to like hurt. So it's because of this. That's amazing. But so throughout college, I was just so hyper focused on my work and my studies, and I just always had things that were going on for me like 24/7, and I didn't have any time to think, right? Honestly, this phone mic is so innovative. I should do that here. Because I was constantly in school, doing work in classes. I always had something I was super passionate about, which was fashion design. I immediately thought after graduation, I'm literally so used to being in school, like I need to continue this, I need to just leverage my energy and just push it even forward even more. So I'm getting my master's at Polymoda in the fall for fashion design, but I had no idea what I was getting into. Aside from that, I decided that I wanted to move to the city. So after graduation, I told my mom, I was like, I need to move to the city, which is the apartment I'm in right now. I actually leave on Sunday, but I just felt this urge to get out of my college town, which was Syracuse, and then of course get out of my hometown, which was Maine. I'm from Maine, and to come to the city. So I said yes to the first opportunity that kind of came to me for an internship. I just finished my internship and it was honestly just a good experience. The first thing I'm noticing is how tired I look. I look exhausted and I had makeup on here. I don't have makeup on now and I look a little bit more awake than I did here. The Italian vibe just makes you feel so much more refreshed, I guess. I would say because I kind of realized that sometimes like for your mental health, you just kind of have to take a break and you can't push yourself to the point of like physical and mental exhaustion, which is exactly what I was doing here. During this internship, I only worked Monday to Wednesday, and I did some freelancing on the side for design, but I just kind of realized like I'm pushing myself to the brink of exhaustion and I'm like scared that I'm gonna get to the point where there's like literally no turning back. Side note, if you're a designer working in New York, you should do styling gigs on the side. They will pay around like $500 per gig that you do. It's really good money and it's quick money. This is what I would do on the side to make a little bit of extra money for my internship. So I now have a couple of months before I start graduate school, and I'm kind of just learning to find peace. Sorry, that's New York City for you. I'm kind of just learning to find peace in solitude and peace in just having alone time and realizing that sometimes in life you cannot work and work and work and work when your body and your mind are just not having it. I'm 22 years old, but this is something that's like constantly engraved in the minds of people like around my age, and I'm sure like anyone can kind of relate to this a little bit, but like we have this push to just like exhaust our bodies and like work so hard, and like I'm literally having doctor's appointments to fix my kidneys because of like damage from drinking too many Monster energy drinks and Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks. This point in my life turned me into a hypochondriac, literally, because I was always so sick and it was self-induced. I wasn't sleeping, I was eating horribly, and I wasn't putting myself first, and I was drinking a ton of caffeine, so I was constantly at the doctor's. So after moving to Italy, my lifestyle completely has changed. I don't drink as much caffeine, I sleep a lot more, I have a more well-rounded life. I still find myself going to the doctors and the hospital like kind of often, and many times that I go, they tell me, you are overthinking this. Why do you keep coming back? Don't keep coming back. You just have a cold. You just have a flu. Like, because in America, I was so used to going to these appointments all the time because I was making myself sick for fashion design, for work. And so I'm still adjusting to this newer lifestyle of you don't have to work yourself to death to be successful. Like having 4 coffees a day is not normal when you're also drinking energy drinks. Like that's not really a good mixture, but that's what you do when you're trying to get through school. So I'm kind of at this point now where like I always knew I would get to this point. It's kind of like a crossroads. Like I don't know exactly what I want to do next. I feel kind of lost, but I also feel at peace. My whole life I knew I would get to this breaking point that I ended up getting to last year that I didn't realize I was going to get to. So it's interesting to see how I knew it was going to happen, and then I put myself right into the position for me to have a breakdown. The following year when I started my master's degree in Italy, I had a horrible breakdown. My life felt like it was falling apart. The workload, the exhaustion, the accumulated exhaustion from the years of living like this hit me like a train. It was awful. Because I at least can acknowledge that I feel super lost in a sense. It's the weirdest feeling ever because it's like I don't have like a passion project that I'm working on consistently. I don't have the pressure on myself to always be my best and work my best and do my best because I'm not currently in school. This was actually my passion project that I was talking about here. I remember it took me a lot of strength to make this video. I was feeling very run down. You can see how exhausted I am, but I keep leaning because I'm sure my kidneys were hurting because I was drinking a ton of caffeine during this time, staying up all night hand sewing and working for this internship, and I just wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled. This video was my way to feel a little spark of happiness. Even though I didn't post it, that's why. You can hear my washing machine going crazy. But I guess like the biggest thing I'm having to navigate at this age is like, how do you go from working yourself to death to entering a society and like working a 9-to-5? And like I honestly don't know how people do it. I don't know how I'm hoping that I never have to work a 9-to-5, but again, I still feel that because I've worked many. I don't know. I feel like our generation just works so hard from many of the people that I've seen who have grown up around me, who I've worked with, who surround me. And I feel like there's just no talking point yet of like what to do when you're 22 years old entering the world and realizing that you have no idea what the fuck to do next. And you feel like kind of extremely lost. And side note, I do want to say I'm really glad that I didn't go straight into the workforce after this video. If I had gone straight into the workforce feeling and looking like this, I would have self-destructed. I would have probably quit the industry. I'm really glad I went to graduate school in Italy. The Italian lifestyle was a culture shock. It was 180 degrees different from my lifestyle in New York. But it shocked me in a way that I needed. Last year was so bad, it was so painful, and it was really exhausting. I didn't even know that I would make it through it sometimes because I was adjusting to the Italian lifestyle and I was adjusting to a graduate school culture that I was not used to and not prepared for from undergrad. Undergrad was really hard, but doing a master's program in a whole other country that has a completely 180-degree different lifestyle than America, it shocked me so bad. But I needed this experience to tone down my life and learn that living comfortably is the most important. like you're not working to your fullest potential. And that's kind of where I'm at now. We all can't work constantly and then just be expected to work until we retire. It's like we need breaks. Also, like a lot of us are dealing with creative backgrounds. Like I come from an extremely creative background, whether it was through gymnastics that I was doing or like painting or sculpture or video production or like fashion design. I've always had a very designy background, and so having to go from like being like a full-blown creative like my whole life. I don't want to be rude to myself, but I'm not loving this hairstyle. I'm glad I changed my hairstyle this year. To having to like kind of realize that it's so much easier to just get a 9-to-5 and be unhappy than to like kind of like figure out how to navigate the world in a creative sense. It's crazy. I just feel like we need to understand that we can't expect to just throw ourselves into the workplace and have that be like okay, like for our mental health, especially if we're not there when we're starting a. This is exactly what I was just saying. I'm really glad I didn't throw myself into the workplace after this or continue along the path I was in the workplace. I needed a break from America to learn that this lifestyle was so wrong. Huge job, or like we've worked a million unpaid internships and now we have to start working a real job, but we're exhausted because we've worked a million unpaid internships and our brain isn't just like, it's not working like at this point because we're just so freaking exhausted. It's a conversation that needs to be had. That's the other thing about America. There are so many unpaid internships, and London too, but I think in Italy it's illegal now. And I'm still navigating it, so I'm sure I will figure it out, but I just felt the need to hop on here and say, if you are in a similar situation where you're kind of at like a crossroads on where you're going or what you're doing with your life after graduation or after, I don't know, like a career change or a shift in realizing what you want to do for the rest of your life, I get you, I feel you, and I feel like I'm just going to do my best to focus on my passions and to be as creative as possible. It's hard. It is so hard to maintain that motivation. I'm trying to think of what I did after this video to be creative and follow my passion. This video was filmed in August of 2021. I started my master's degree in January of 2022 in Italy. After this, I went back to my hometown in Maine. But then in December, I had my 4th nose job in Turkey scheduled. So I flew to Turkey with one of my friends and I got my nose job and then I came back. And then right after I came back, I flew directly to Italy for my master's program. I think after this, I did end up just taking a break. I think I was relaxing at home in Maine and just trying to recover from life. I'm editing right now, and of course that wasn't true. I just remembered I enrolled in Italian school. I was doing full-time Italian school for 3 months, right up until the point I had my nose job, and then I flew to Italy for grad school. So I had no break. And that drive when you're not like on like a constant regime of going to class and getting graded for your work, and it's just, and I had an advantage when it came to school because I would leave school a lot to attend Fashion Week events, and I would go to New York after class, like Manhattan, New York City, from upstate New York, which was like a 5-hour drive, and I would assist events in Manhattan. I've assisted over 30 designers in New York, London, Paris, and Italy. And I was a really good student. Like I would work very hard and I had really good grades, but I was often convincing my teachers to let me go to New York to assist New York Fashion Week. It's such a crossroads that I'm trying to get through. So if you're going through this, I get you, I feel you. I will try to update on how things end up going in my life. This is my update. But if you want to check up with my design work, my Instagram is Chandler D. Burke. I mainly only use Instagram now, even though I barely use Instagram now. I'm trying to get better at being off of social media, so that's been great. I also want to add, at this time I was very insecure about my nose. I had 3 really bad nose surgeries. Social media was very toxic for me at this time because I wasn't posting any video content, only photos, and I would edit those photos so much. I would edit my nose in those photos so much to try to make myself feel a little bit better, but in the end it made me feel worse because I would see the before and after photos of my editing, you know? So Instagram was not healthy for me at this time. But yeah, so I will talk to you guys maybe soon. I cannot promise that. But yeah, 2.5 years later. Best of luck to everyone. We will all get through this together. Here's to 22. Bye guys. I was 22 in this video, I'm 25 now, so that was 3 years age difference. And I just have to say, I just want to tell myself in the past that it will get better. I want to tell myself that life hit me like a brick after, but I also knew it was coming. I had gone to my tarot reader around this time and she told me that if I went to school in Italy, it would hit me like a brick. She also advised that I should go to graduate school in New York, but if I chose to go to Italy, that it would be a really tough experience, but I would grow a lot. She said I would find love and that I would fall out of it again and it would be really traumatic for me that the exact thing happened. And I knew what was coming, but it's that type of thing where you don't really believe that it's actually going to happen. Like, you know it, you do and you don't. It's life, you know? Nothing feels real until it happens. So to 22-year-old Chandler, it will get better. I love you still. Your health will get better. Your happiness will get better. You'll fall in love, fall out of it again, but you'll learn how to live a healthy and happy lifestyle while still being creative. It's wild to look back and see your older self, but it's really inspiring as well because I can now think in 2.5 years, I'll probably be able to do the same thing. I'll be able to look back and see where I am now and look how much I've grown in those 2.5 years. You can do a lot in 2.5 years. My whole vibe has changed. My aura is different. I'm like, you know how they say people give off a color as an energy? Like, some people have a vibrant pink color that they give off, or a pink energy they give off. Some people have a yellow energy that they give off. At this time, I don't even know what my energy was. It was probably white. It was bland. I feel like my energy now is more green. It's more serene. It's more calm. And that's what I was looking for. That's what these plants represent in the back of my apartment. I carried the plant behind me 10 minutes down the blocks in New York City, like in the Upper East Side, trying to get it to my apartment because I just needed more greenery in my house. And now I live in Firenze, Toscana, Italia, Florence, Italy, where there's a lot of greenery and I feel really at peace. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.